Hi, I'm Anna, and welcome to the D5 Audible cheat sheet on sweet sherry. To understand sweet sherry properly, we need to undo a common assumption. Sweet sherry is not sweet because fermentation was stopped early in Palomino, and it is not sweet because fortification automatically creates sugar. Sweetness in sherry is created deliberately using different grapes, different processes, and different objectives from those used for dry styles. The starting point is grape suitability. Palomino, the backbone of dry sherry, is not capable of producing intensely sweet wines on its own. It does not accumulate extreme sugar levels, and its role in sherry is structural, not aromatic or sweet. Sweet sherry relies instead on grapes that can reach very high sugar concentrations, most notably Pedro Jimenez and Moscatel. These grapes are grown in the same broad region but are used very differently. After harvest, grapes destined for sweet sherry are often sun dried, a process that dramatically concentrates sugar by reducing water content. This is not about flavor development alone, it's about pushing sugar levels so high that fermentation becomes limited or impossible to complete. The result is a must with extreme sugar concentration. When fermentation begins, yeast activity is quickly overwhelmed either by the sheer level of sugar or by the addition of fortifying spirit. Fermentation stops very early, leaving wines that are intensely sweet, low in acidity, and high in viscosity. At this stage, these sweet wines are not balanced table wines, they are components. From a D5 perspective, this distinction matters. Sweet wines made from Pedro Jimenez or Muscatel are rarely intended to be bottled and sold only as standalone expressions. Their primary role is to act as sweetening agents within the sherry system. Dry sherry styles, whether biologically or oxidatively aged, provide structure, alcohol, and aging character. Sweet wines provide sugar, richness, and flavor intensity. Blending the two allows producers to create a controlled spectrum of sweetened sherry styles. This blending approach is central to understanding sweetness in sherry. Sweetness is not accidental. It is not a fermentation byproduct. It is a measured, intentional addition. Because the sweet component is already stable, high sugar, fortified, and resistant to spoilage, it can be blended into mature dry sherries without compromising microbiological stability. The resulting wines remain shelf stable and commercially reliable. From a business perspective, this approach is highly efficient. It allows producers to maintain consistency across bottles, to adjust sweetness levels precisely, and to meet different market preferences without changing core production. And crucially for D5, it separates style creation from base wine production. Sweet sherry styles therefore reflect two parallel production tracks. One focused on neutral dry wines suitable for aging, and one focused on extreme sugar concentration and sweetness. The exam relevant insight is this: in sherry, sweetness is layered on, not fermented in. If you can explain why Palomino is unsuitable for sweet wine production, why Pedro Jimenez and Moscatel are suitable, how sun drying and fermentation limits create sugar concentration, and why blending is the preferred solution, then you are demonstrating the level of causal understanding the D5 exam rewards. In the next episode, we leave Hereth and apply this same logic to a very different context, where climate, sugar accumulation, and early fortification interact in a much more direct way. That brings us to port. I'll see you on the next series.